Hey guys, Mike here, Replicons. Happy Friday. I was having breakfast and preparing for a great productive day. Sun is shining, looks like it's going to be a beautiful weekend, birds tweeting here and everything, right? And then I check my email and immediately I'm seeing a few emails that strongly hinted that there were some rumblings going on in the crypto market. And sure enough, Bitcoin is trading at 38,000 and now it just dropped below 38,800. So what's going on? And of course, great timing. Right? Great timing because I just posted this yesterday, speaking about anti-adjusted dormancy flow and how this looked like a potential floor pattern, and talking about jumping the gun a little bit. But just so you know, I'm not completely full of it. Let me back this up, and also let me give you like a clear overview of what this means, where we're heading, potentially, the ugly truth, what we might be seeing before this is all done and over. And yeah, so okay, first things first. Let's talk about the price action. There's technical damage here now. Okay, let's not sugarcoat this. We dropped through this. I said this actually in my defense. I don't think I really have to defend myself or anything like that. But just to be clear, I mentioned that 42,000, especially 40,000, was kind of the line in the sand. And yes, this could be an attempt to scare the children. This happens all the times. But let's not discount the fact that we're basically seeing a series of lower lows and lower highs. Okay, and that's not good. This was supposed to be a floor pattern. It was breached. Okay, then it painted this, which lands up here. This was breached. So, yeah, and now what? We're relying on this one here, 37,000. And if this is breached, we're going all the way to probably 30,000. Okay, and that's basically what I'm looking at here, and that's going to be painful, right? And it's not going to be enjoyable for any of us. And it sucks, but that's basically the bottom line. The odds of this happening are 50-50 right now, about. Yes, the good news is this, and that's just on the price front, right? If this bounces back, this right here, this candle here, let me zoom in. This candle bounces back, right, and we close above here again, today or tomorrow. I think that needs to happen today or tomorrow. If that happens, we're actually in pretty good shape. And if we breach above this spike high here, 43,600, 43,600 and something, then this flow is interrupted and we have a good chance that this is kind of peters out. However, if this holds, right, if we keep dropping or just screw around here for another day or two, I think this is going down, honestly. I think this is going down all the way here into this cluster, 30,000, might even briefly dip into like 28,000 like before. Okay, that's going to shake out a lot of players, and this is kind of surprising that this happened because we're seeing accumulation all across the front, and I think that this might actually have surprised a lot of the whales as well. So, but I want to come back to this chart here, and let's talk about this one because that kind of was the impetus yesterday for me to bring this up, right, and say, hey, we're looking like potential floor pattern, and so. Look, when we looking at these drops here below, right? We see that flows are usually, that's the good news, right? I wouldn't call it a blessing in disguise, so to say, but the good news is that once we get into this range here, right, down here below, where really the coins that are being destroyed are really, really, very, very young coins, right? It's not coins that will hold 100 days or more, or even 20 days or 30 days. These are, a lot of young coins being destroyed. There's usually a floor nearby, but the thing is, see this, if we draw this correlation here with what's going on today, we might be here. So if you look at the price action right here in Bitcoin, see that there. Right. So we might, because we just dipped below here, and we might have to go through all this, and then maybe even a double dip. Yeah, with a draw, with another dip below, this might happen. So if we scroll forward and looking at different scenarios, right? Because I like to look at several. Of course, we don't have 20, 30 years. We only have like 10 years of Bitcoin data, but better than nothing. And here what it did, again, so we might be like here, see that? And that's what I'm talking about. So maybe I should try to zoom in a little bit more even. Yeah, I think that is the one, right? Yes. Mm-hmm. All right. So if you're looking at the signal here, and it dips below, see, it's accelerating, and it might actually have to just go, all the way and just drop and then snap back. That's what we need to see. We need to see a capitulation, and we haven't seen capitulation yet. We have seen it once, and we assumed based on prior, last May, this was probably the low. It might get retested, but good chance it would hold, but it didn't hold. So that's the bottom line, and now we are in a similar situation as where we're here again. So here, see this was a fairly steep drop, but you also got to consider, look at the price action, how much price dropped until the signal even reached below that threshold here, right? The zone here that's marked, which is really kind of the floor zone. And again, it takes a double dip to take it out. Mm-hmm. Here's a more painless, that was in May 2020. Always in summer, huh? Strange. So here again, a drop, but it recovered fairly quickly, right? And as soon as the signal is back above and holds, we're good to go. So the good news is we have a good floor signal here. This was the least painful, right? This one, it just briefly dipped, and we were thinking, okay, maybe that's what we're going to get this time. Dips below, and then bounces right back and recovers, and we're off to the races. So if we zoom into where we are now here with this, look, we dip below. It looked like it's going to be recovering. That was kind of the impetus, right, for it. That was the whole notion behind thinking that we might be good to go now, and but now price keeps dropping. See that? And this means that we could spend a little bit more time down here. So it's kind of a sweet sour thing, right? Like Chinese sauce, in that the dip here means that we're close to the floor, but in these kind of situations, you see often quite a lot of price acceleration to the downside. And that's why I'm also, that's kind of also what I'm seeing on the chart, right? I mean, I don't see anything really holding here until, we are here now, right? We've dropped below support, or what used to be support, and before that used to be resistance, right? Just from a pure price perspective. So after that, there's really nothing. It's kind of a vacuum. There's a lot of price action, but you don't see anything big, significant until around here, which is 30,000 and change. And so, based on what I'm seeing now, after this, sometimes at inflection points, and that's kind of the easy way of making yourself look foolish when you are inclined to say, okay, this looks like a buying opportunity, because these buying opportunities, they occur at inflection points. And when the old rule, as the old rule goes, when something's supposed to happen and everyone looks at that happening and then it doesn't happen, the opposite happens, and a lot of times that opposite is magnified. Price accelerates because it catches a lot of people by surprise. And again, as I said earlier in this video, I said that I am fairly certain, based on what I've seen in terms of distribution and accumulation patterns, that I've observed over the last few weeks, and I've reported on that it caught a bunch of whales by surprise as well. So this is kind of interesting, and I think this is, interesting. It's painful, and it might lead us lower to 30,000. The good news is that we are much closer to a floor pattern now, because if you're looking at this from a kind of 10,000 feet perspective, right, from here to here, in terms of floors, right? Yes, we might see another 10,000 being shaved off. Yeah, it's brutal. Right? We might see that, but we're not like here. We're not here or anything like this. So these formations down here, that kind of type of signal, in terms of coin destruction, right? Dormancy flow, sorry. This usually happens near medium to long-term lows. And that's the good news. And the bad news is that we might see more downside until that happens, right? Because we have now breached this inflection point here. Right? And we also breached that, if you're looking at total, that's with Bitcoin, right? So, I mean, it's a similar pattern here. See that? There, I mean, we've just breached, well, actually we're kind of holding here, okay? So that's kind of interesting. Combined, this market is actually holding up against Bitcoin. So, no, actually, this is with Bitcoin. Total 2 is without Bitcoin, right? So let's look at that. This is, yeah, it looks similar. Okay. So basically, this one here, total 2, which is everything but Bitcoin, it looks actually, it might be holding up here, which is interesting. So, for instance, in terms of Cryptonaissance, it might actually switch us into Ethereum mode, right, in the coming week, because if Bitcoin keeps sliding, then Ethereum might be the best way to kind of sit things out. But I don't want to jump to conclusions just yet. It's very tempting to just kind of make an emotional decision here. Say, okay, let's try to jump into Ethereum or something else. But that's usually the moments when things kind of flip around, and you might end up selling at the worst spot. So always kind of breathe, before taking action, and and also listen to your system. So yeah, that's basically the bottom line. That's all I have to share for today. Because I don't want to show a million indicators or anything like this, I mean, in terms of the overall picture, we're still, nowhere. I mean, in terms of downside, right? We've held up quite well. But we're looking at the entire market here, right? Over here. The entire crypto market, it hasn't really, if you're looking at the totality of it, right? See, that's since May of last year. We haven't really gone anywhere yet. It's been stuck. 2021 was a rut. I mean, we know we traded through it. The system held up very well through all that. I mean, I'm extremely proud of that. But after May, which was really the main growth period, in June, then things kind of been just swinging around, and here the market has gone flat. And in terms of Bitcoin, similar observations, right? So, bottom line, okay? I like to bottom line this stuff. Bottom line is this needs to snap back, okay? Right away, today, tomorrow. If it doesn't, the odds keep increasing every day that we're going to 30,000, 28,000, something like that down here, okay? Right here. And yeah, there's a very good chance we're going to see a floor here, okay? I'm fairly confident about that. And because if we don't, then things might get really ugly. So I don't want to even think about that yet. That is far away from this point, and it doesn't make it doesn't make sense to worry about stuff that paying interest on worries that you don't even have to kind of worry about yet. Issues that you don't have to worry about yet. We're still up here. We have a very strong floor possibility here if things slide off the plate. If they hold here, then it's actually turning. If they hold here and snap back and go above 43,000, then we actually have a very good chance that the floor is in place. So kind of a bit of price advance here could make a big difference. But right now, there's no guarantee this will happen. And again, to kind of summarize this thing here, these formations, these signals occur near lows. And yeah, this is the kind of places right down here in here where we see capitulation happening. And when I look at the price action, since this has been breached right here, we need to see capitulation again, because see, that's what happened here. We didn't get it, tried a few times, boom, here a lot of people got really shaken out and scared of their positions, and then scared again, by the way, the ones who thought, okay, this is not going anywhere, and then it just all new all-time highs, right? I mean, nobody expected that either. I don't know, I mean, how many of you guys were trading last July and looking at it and say, the crypto market is gone, it's done, we're never going to recover, and then boom, how many? July, August, September, October, right? By November, so like 4 months later, we were at new all-time highs. So that's how that can happen. If that's going to happen this time, we don't know. If markets do sometimes, they rhyme. Okay, they don't really, always do the same thing. So I wanted to lay out the possibilities. I wanted to give you a clear view of where we are in terms of the price, in terms of also what I just presented the other day. I think this is an important signal. This is a very good view of the market. Otherwise, the other signals we're looking at, and UPL and everything, there's really nothing there that really suggests that we're, that we're the bear market or anything like this. This is a large scale correction, obviously, right? I mean, let's not kid ourselves. 38,000, right? We were at 65,000 or 68,000. So that's it's been pretty brutal over the last few months and quite a bit of pain. And we need to get out of this rut. And these are the thresholds to that I believe will lead us to either more downside right here, or finally put a floor in place. Last word, right here, down here. That's really the line, and the biggest line in the sand. And when that one gets breached, if that one gets breached, not when, things could get ugly for quite a while. But it could also just be spiking low and bouncing right back. It's very hard to predict these things, honestly. I mean, look what happened here, right? I mean, if I'm here, how to predict all this? Right? I mean, let's say I'm here, right, on February 2020. Boom, right? And then, like, at this point, everyone is just frustrated. Everyone says, what, crypto's never going to come back. Look where we came from. We were at 10,000 almost, right? And now we're being cut in half, more than half. We're at 4,000, right? I remember those days. People were freaking out, and people were saying, crypto's over. Crypto over. Yeah, people, I saw it everywhere. It's a scam. The usual BS that you keep hearing everywhere. And then, well, look what happened, right? So that's how you got to think. It's very hard. It's actually very easy to get blinded by the action right now. And you look at your account, and you're like, oh my God, So, just I try to present the evidence as best as I can in terms of price action, in terms of the alpha factors we're looking at, and that's it. So we're gonna have to deal with it. Pucker up. It might be a wild ride, but I hope this helps. Kind of set your expectations, help you kind of, sit through this and weather it out, and wait for better weather in the markets. Okay, have a nice weekend. Talk to you soon.